Yeah, rolling right back at you, Almighty G. Speaking the truth, get back into this knowledge like I was saying. Yeah, brother, man, you have to be aware of the power that is in your loins. This is one of the reasons why the slave masters of old, whenever they used to hang ancestors and castrate them, they used to cut off their dicks and their nuts. You know what I'm saying? As they hung from tree branches. That was just a symbolic gesture, just to say, you know, we know that the black man dick and balls is the ultimate threat to our entire race, and as long as we got good sense, we will continue to castrate and emasculate the black man, physically as well as mentally, until our dying days. You feel me? And they put an amen on top of that, admit that. We're going to get into chapter 2 right quick. Where does it start? In the home. The beginning of genocide starts with a mental attitude. Actually, we adopted the deleterious mental attitude around 400 years ago when we were first stolen from our motherland of Africa and brought to this country as slaves in the 1500s. After we were stripped of our culture, religion, languages, and Afrocentric frame of mind, we were then demoralized to the point that we began to hate everything about ourselves and our own kind through systematic verbal, sexual, physical, and mental abuse. This was done to us by our people who saw us as nothing more than a piece of property. They did not even see us as humans, and this is documented in the United States Constitution, which can still be pulled up to this very day for proof. Whites had no regard for gold people outside of capitalistic exploitation. That means they did not care for gold people other than how much money we can make for them as slaves. Let me provide you with an example of what I mean by demoralized into a frame of mind that fed and sustained self-hatred. It's similar to an abusive relationship between a man and a woman. We see it all the time in our communities. A brother beats up his woman, call her beats and H's, disrespect her in the most violent and inhuman ways, and constantly reiterates the fact to her that she might not be nothing or won't ever be nothing without him, etc. This is an example of mental battering along with the physical, if physical abuse is involved. When a relationship has degraded to the point between a woman and a man, and the woman has now walked out, then it is safe to say that the woman in the said relationship is a broken woman. She's broken in a mental and spiritual way, and sometimes the sisters stuck in these abusive relationships come to believe the negative things that the abusive mate has told them, and they even start to believe that they deserve the abusive treatment because it was somehow their fault. These sisters claim love is the reason why they won't leave an abusive relationship, but the real reason they don't leave is because they feel nobody else will love them or want them, that they are not worthy of any other man's love, forgetting that no one can truly love you until you first love yourself. The fact is, the constant abuse has taught these sisters how to hate themselves, and when you learn to hate yourself, you lose all respect for yourself. And when you don't love yourself or respect yourself, who else will? Nobody. However, this is only an example of what was done to us during slavery. The ways we were talked to by the slave master, flagrantly abused, disregarded, and posed a form of abuse that was far worse than and lasting than the physical. We're talking about mental abuse, an abuse that came from their racist, evil minds out towards us gold peoples, an abuse that our forefathers were born and bred and raised up under with no mercy, subtly and overtly from the time they were babies by the slave masters. These attitudes and mentality were then passed down to their children and their children's children, and so on and so on, down to us in this present day and age, and therefore the WRM has survived intact and is still in full effect to this day through us, our own selves, who have nurtured it and kept it alive and well, century after century, decade after decade, without fail. A lot of people, of course, may be wondering still, what am I talking about? I know I'm probably sounding like a lunatic to the common minded. What I'm talking about, however, is the mentality that says white is right and it's everything that is beautiful and angelic. And at the same time, it says everything black is ugly, bad, no good, evil, and worthless. You remember those old sayings in grade school? If you white, you alright. If you yellow, you mellow. If you brown, stick around. But if you black, what? Get your ass back. You know what I'm saying? Has everyone thought about where sayings like this originate? It could not be coming from anybody black or from within the golden race. Not from anyone golden who claims to love themselves anyway. No matter where it came from, it obviously came from the depths of the white racist mentality. But what's really funny about this saying is that you never heard any white kids saying it. You only heard other gold people saying it. And this is another example of how we have been indoctrinated with and carried within us and still nurture the WRM to this day, the white racist mentality. This is a mentality. If when you were a little girl, you want the little baby doll with the blonde hair and blue eyes instead of the black baby doll that look identical to the white doll except for color, then it's evident that the WRM was in you. If you were that little boy whose dream girl was the white blonde with the blue eyes, you had the WRM indoctrinated into you too. A lot of you golden sisters still want the so-called pretty baby, complete with the so-called good hair, which is actually bad hair compared to the African man's naturally kinky hair, which protects our scalps from the sun's powerful ultraviolet rays, and you want the baby to have light skin. A lot of you brothers are still undercover lovers of white women, and some of you are not undercover about the love of white women at all. It was straight out to tell you they love white women and will take one before they take a sister any day. Some of this stuff we never think about, but we know deep inside that it is true. It is frightening to a certain degree if you think about it. It's even more frightening that we don't even know why we think the way we do, and how these thoughts and bad tendencies got into our head. These thoughts, which are all the way counterproductive to any form of self-love or progress. I'm going to show you something else. Close your eyes for about 5 seconds and just picture the face of Jesus in your head. Now this is an experiment I want to do with my listeners, just to show you. Just go ahead and close your eyes for about 5 seconds and picture the face of Jesus Christ in your head. Did you see him? What color did you see him as? Tell the truth. A white man, right? Don't be ashamed, because it's not your fault. Even though Jesus was a very dark-skinned Hebrew, which in today's times would be labeled a black man, born and raised in Africa, might I add, it is due to the indoctrination of the WRM, pounded into us from birth, the white racist mentality. None of us has ever seen the face of Jesus our entire lives, yet we have a crystal clear picture of him in our imagination as being none other than a white man. Where in the world did we pick up these ideas? This is why I'm trying to tell you and show you how powerful mirror images are, and how careful we have to be concerning what we let enter our minds. And not only enter our minds, but and more importantly, the minds of our children. Ask any child between the ages of 4 and 12 what color God is. You will be shocked that almost 100% of the time they will tell you that they believe that not only God, but also Jesus is white. It's not their fault, however. What is even more cold-blooded about it is they were never told by anyone that Jesus or God is white. So if nobody ever taught them this, then how do you explain the fact that a golden child can come right out of their mouth and tell you that Jesus and God are both white with no second thoughts at all? How did they, and how do you still have a better picture of a white Jesus in your mind every time you close your eyes and try to visualize and pray to him? How does the white power structure have you bound down and praying to a white image in the sky, when you and your forefathers and the majority of everybody who was somebody in the Bible was of African descent and of a golden hue? It is simple. It all boils down to imagery, which in today's society is a form of psychological warfare.